It's been 44 years since the New Zealand Kiwis last defeated Australia in a rugby league test match here in Sydney. But tonight, the men from across the Tasman come to the Aussie Stadium fresh and confident they can break that lengthy drought. And here is how the home side will take the field. At fullback tonight, Anthony Minichiello. On the wings, Matt Singh and Shannon Hegarty. Young centre pairing of Brent Tate and Jamie Lyon. At 5'8", just reward for Sean Timmins. The halfback and the Australian skipper is Andrew Johns. Making his test debut at 30 years of age and locking the scrum is Luke Ricketson, Gordon Tallis, Dane Carlaw, the second row pairing. And what a front row, Shane Webke, Danny Badiris and Luke Bailey. And coming off the bench tonight, Brian Fletcher and Craig Wing. In 16, Willie Mason, 17, Petro Simnasiva, their coach, Chris Anderson. And speaking of Andersons, the first time that man tonight, Daniel, has taken over the reins of the national side. Been a rapid rise, just 3 years top grade coaching. But he's done a great job, and a task could be made a little bit easier tonight. As you can see, a lot of familiar faces there from the Warriors camp. In fact, 7 of his club players have made the squad. They lost Ali Lauatiti through suspension during the week. Here's their team. David Violecki as fullback, Matt Utai and Francis Melly on the flanks. Plenty of try-scoring potential with Nigel Bunganar and Clinton Torpey in the centres. A surprise at 5'8", Willie Talau. The halfback is Stacey Jones. Locking the scrum, Arwen Guttenbeil, Stephen Kearney and Logan Swan comes into the run-on side. Whilst the front row of Paul Rauhihi, Richard Swain and Ruben Wiki, who's the captain of the side. Their interchange, Tony Pulatua and Monty Beetham, Jerry Siu and Joe Nallavau. Their coach is Daniel Anderson.
Let's hear what Andrew Johns has to say about his arch rival.
Playing against Stacey, he's probably one of my biggest competitors. He's got no weakness. I think he's taken his game to a new level over the past 2 years and spearheaded the Warriors last year to get into the grand final. I think we sort of bring the best out of each other every time we play each other, and I really enjoy playing with Stacey.
Now those two players fair at the end of 80 minutes will have a lot to do with who wins this match tonight. Bill Harrigan referee. And Test football, we are underway, and the Kiwis go for a shallow start to the match. And it is Timmins who comes up with the ball. And the dummy half, Matt Singh, returning to Test football for the first time since '99 tonight. Rewarded for an outstanding Origin series. This is Tate, one of his Queensland teammates. And 4 in the tackle on the Australian centre on the 30-metre line. And they will kick from that 30. Andrew Johns' first kick has Violecki on the chase. Almost a 40-20. Violecki with some play back to the goal line. And Ricketson first man there.
Yeah, great chase there by the Aussies. Good work by Violecki. Outstanding stuff there. We can expect a very physical start to this match. The Kiwis were going in hard in their tackles. Let's see what the Australians have got.
No fear, the attitude of the Kiwis going into tonight. Heavy defence on that previous exchange on Melly, and then Swan was lifted up low by Johns, high by Ricketson. Now Wiki, the captain, puts his head down like a battering ram and able to offload. This is Rauhihi over the 20. Australians will be aware of the offloading ability of many of the Kiwi forwards, and indeed the troops they've got coming off the bench. Jones' first kick of the night finds Minichiello on the full.
And there's no doubt New Zealand would like to make this as physical as possible, and that's shown by their interchange. All big men coming off the interchange. Pulatua, Beetham, Siu and Nallavau. A lot of finesse there. There you can see them. Big men waiting to make their mark. And here's Webke taking it forward. Good low tackle.
35 metres out. The man Lyon is with it. It is still on for the Australians. Hegarty. He's inside the 20. The Kiwis only now regroup. And there will be a penalty. It's one of those that possibly could have gone either way.
Good out, like for a trip. I didn't see it, mate. I can only keep my eyes open.
Hand on the ball. I think that's a penalty New Zealand needed to give away. They were gone in that set. They were struggling to get a line back. Now with that little bit of a break, they're a chance of holding on here as Webke takes the charge. He's been the best player on the field, Webke.
10 metres out. Australians would be thinking they will crack the Kiwis here. Bailey alive with Fletcher. And steps back into a 3-man tackle in front of the Kiwi posts. Badiris, Timmins alive with Minichiello. The try coming for Singh with a double. And Matty Singh gets over for the Kangaroos. And there is no doubt about this one. It is 4-0.
Yeah, a little bit of a juggle there from Matty Singh, but he was able to control it to get his second for Australia. And Stacey Jones put the kick through, and Minicello made the bust. Now to Minicello's right, look at Matt Singh on the fly. And if he'd have passed, I'm sure that Richard Swain and Bielecki would have been unable to stop the try. Here was the penalty. No doubt deliberate tactics there from David Bielecki to slow the football down. The penalty resulted, if he frees it there, this man rushes up to try and get his player, and when he misses, that gives a little bit of space on the outside as play continues. Once he is brought in, then the overlap is there. Nice little interplay there. Tate realises that he could have gone over the sideline.
Now here is an area the Australians have an advantage. Andrew Johns, who kicks at 82% this year. The Kiwis have a choice of Jones and Swain for kicking. Johns 21 metres out, first kick of the night, turns 4 into 6. And Nine's Friday Night Football. Phil Gould sideline, 6-0 the Kangaroos.
Yes, mate, we've got some news on Gordon Tallis, who left the field there with that knee injury. Initial prognosis is that he's got a grade 2 medial ligament tear. A grade 2 medial ligament tear. He will not be back tonight. It could be a lot worse, but it's not good. He's going to miss a couple of games for the Broncos, I would say.
And the damage was done, coincidentally, or ironically, by his front row teammate from the Broncos, Shane Webke. Certainly moving much more freely than when he went down and initially got to his feet. And shocking news, especially on the top of Darren Lockyer being out for an extended period for the Brisbane team.
Very unfortunate. And Richard Swain, he actually kicked quite well in the goal-kicking role in that test in October in Wellington. Kicked 4 from 5. Webke. He'd like to be in a position tonight where he has 5 opportunities at goal. But they are 6-0 down. And the Kangaroos with Bailey.
And the important thing for New Zealand is that they turn this scoreline into 6-4 or 6-all, not 12-0 against them. They must be the next to score. In past confrontations, Australia have been able to put tries back-to-back quickly, and the contest was over.
Fletcher is in trouble after that tackle from Torpy and Siu, who's out there off the bench. Now Hegarty with it. Just a minor point, but I'm disappointed for Shannon that he has to wear a jumper 18 in his test debut. He's in the starting side. They might have given him the 5 and Minicello the 1. So the Kiwis are back in possession. Bielecki's done some good things early, but he's playing with a venom that perhaps we haven't seen this year, an aggression. He was dropped after 8 rounds of this year with Parramatta. He's since fought his way back. New Zealand on the 30. Siu with a trademark charge back to the 40. At times he can have a questionable knee action. This is Guttenbeil. Now Kearney. He is 45 metres from the Australian line, but it is the last tackle. They just haven't been able to get any sustained pressure applied on the Aussies so far. Getting those repeat sets. Minicello able to lock up the ball this time.
There's a better kick there from New Zealand. On that occasion by Swain from dummy half. As we've said, Jones's first 3 kicks found Minicello on the full. In the end, Minicello made a 50-yard break from one of them. And Shane Webke, yeah, big game by Shane Webke. 13 tackles so far in the match, and that's his 8th hit-up. That's outstanding.
There's Andrew Johns working this right side of the field. And I don't know where the pass came from. Tate ends up with it. There were 3 in the tackle on Andrew, and he was still able to offload. Timmins passes infield. Long ball, Badera. Shades of Wally Lewis. Ricketson. Lyon. Hegarty's on his outside. And Lyon down 30 metres from the line. Now Andrew Johns, 25 metres out, utilising that short kick. It bounces favourably. It bounces better than that. Brent Tate has helped himself to a test try if he is onside.
That's the only concern, but from the way that the Australians are reacting, especially Brent Tate, he knows he was behind the kicker. I think if anything, David Bielecki might have just been caught a little bit out of position. Let's have a look. Yeah, I've got no doubt all the Australians are behind the kicker there. And it's delicately placed. Wailecki just didn't have the speed. Didn't get a lot of help there from Francis Melly, did he? Yeah, I think Matt Utai made a try-saving tackle in the play before when he grabbed the jersey. They were away on the far side, and the try comes up. The cheer girls go up as well, and so does the scoreboard.
And Johns to make it 12-0. That is the story here at Aussie Stadium. Nines Friday night test football. 12-0 to the Kangaroos. Kiwis in search of points. The Australians looking to maintain their dominance on the scoreboard. And there are changes out there. One of the men on is Sivanasiva. Craig Wing has also been thrown into the match after the first quarter. They're on their 30.
Yeah, real backs to the wall position now for the Kiwis, and they're not a side against Australia that have come from behind on the scoreboard. Anytime they've gone close to winning or in fact prevailed, they've always built up a substantial lead. Even last year they led 18-6 and got rolled. When they won 24-22 in 1999, they scored all their points in the first half. They're not a good side from coming from behind. Can they turn that around tonight?
You saw the reaction there of Andrew Johns. He's a bit disbelieving of the bounces he's getting. His kick came down inside the 20, but then took a giant hop as if it hit the tarmac out at Mascot, and not for the first time in this game. Flew over the dead ball line. Pardon the pun. And New Zealand back on their 40.
Like the ball's come down, hit a cart path, gone out of bounds. It's happened a few times. Tragic.
Kiwis in possession. Kearney was slow to his feet that time. Guttenbeil. Is there the same gusto about the Kiwis attacking work here now? I think not. Torpy with a crossfield run out of dummy half. 5 tackles, 38 metres gained in this set. The door opens for Swain. He's all on his own and kicks for the corner. Great kick, and Haggerty's work is top shelf. On test debut, that's a beautiful play by Shannon Haggerty.
Yeah, there's a little set two there between Torpy and Fletcher, who was marker, and that allowed Swain to slide through. And he kicked astutely to the far side, but Haggerty catches or leaves the field in the field of play, and that's why we'll see the line drop out. Good football all round.
That is a big confidence booster for the young rooster. Line drop out. They have been sweating on a repeat set. They've got one now. A little unexpected. And a mix-up. Utai on halfway. It's the razzes from the crowd over there. On the eastern side, he's twisted back in the tackle there of Bailey. See you. Got a forearm up at Craig Wing. Craig Wing playing his second test match tonight. Kulatua bounded away from Timmins' attempt. This is Swain. Kearney. He's got that unusual looking bandage to the left ear. He had 20 stitches in that a few weeks back. As the Kiwis attack the right, they are 20 metres out from the line. And the Australians under a little bit of a defensive squeeze here as Jones gets the kick in. It's for the wing of Melly. They're very good under the high ball. Melly loses it back. Tate attacks a man without the ball. It was knocked back by the Kiwis.
Yeah, Tate actually kicks the football over the sideline, but it was accidental, and I'm sure he didn't play at it. Should result in an Australian ball.
See it all unfold. The Australians win the scrum. Singh running with a good amount of acceleration there. Let's head to the sideline on the Kiwis attack field.
Yeah, I suppose everyone's eyebrows were raised when Willie Talau was named as 5'8" for this Kiwi side, but after only a short period in this game, I'm prepared to doom it a failure. There's not enough variety in this Kiwi attack to trouble the Australian defence. They're doing it very, very comfortably with the pace of the game the way it is, and the Kiwis are struggling for options.
Timmins almost back to halfway. And Craig Wing now on a scurry. You saw Willie Mason on the bench. He's now out there, or rather on the sideline. He'll get his taste here. This is where he made his test debut last year against Great Britain. Scored a try on debut. Scored a try in his second test as well. Now Francis Melly, leading try scorer for the Warriors this year, is given the treatment there in the tackle of Fletcher and Johns. Now see you, there's that gate as the left knee gets pumping. Just watch Jerry as he gets moving. He searches for that extra little bit. Lee Talau wrapped up in his last tackle. It's been a set of 6 lacking adventure for the Kiwis. Jones's kick is wide. In fact, into the Nutrigrain sign, which is a good 5 or 6 metres over the sideline.
Yeah, nothing going right for the Kiwis in attack. It's a very tepid performance by them with the football, isn't it? As Phil said, there's a lack of variety. There's hardly been any interchange of passing. The couple of times they have used the inside ball, it's been successful. The last time they did that was about 15 minutes ago. It's all Australia at the moment.
Sivanasiva will play it. And wing left with Mason. So Wing's first taste of game time in this match is as a dummy half. Andrew Johns, wide ball back. And they prop and find Fletcher standing wide. Unloads here for Tate, gets the kick in, and again it is too strong.
The danger in the Australian speed to get the ball wide. Long flat passes, opens up some space on the outside, although the Kiwis closed it up nicely. He didn't panic under pressure there, David Bielecki, realising the ball was going over the dead ball line.
Logan Swan from the restart. And New Zealand now with Utah. Just another dummy half run. But the wind is out of the sails very much at the moment. There's Rauhihi on halfway. Swain with a run. Man in the position on that short side. Bunganar was able to offload. It's good second phase play. Utah in turn was looking to keep it alive. Now Swain. Jones and then Pulatua. Maybe an injection of Nullavow as the player they need right now. Last tackle here with Jones. He's going to be caught in possession, then passes. It will be a changeover. And even with their star playmaker, it breaks down on the last.
Well, he's the only one that's capable of doing anything, Stacey Jones, and the pressure is all on him, and the Australians know that. And they're really finding him out. They're coming up hard on the outside, cutting off his supports. On that occasion, Stacey nearly passed it off the ground, but Australia, Shane Webke back on, going good.
And running, and Talau offloaded for Lyon. It was brilliant. And Jamie Lyon, he set sail for the try line. This young tyro from Parramatta on the end of a Webke offload scores what is a beautiful test try. 16-0.
And Jamie Lyon gets his third in Australian colours, and he'll say, put it down to Shane Webke and his ability to draw 3 defenders and not throw a forward pass. He turned David Bielecki inside out, Parramatta teammates, and then had too much speed for Vinton Chorpy. The swan dive at the end. Beautiful stuff. Look at the big man. This is skill.
Great work, Shane Webke. Did all the hard yakka early, and now he brings out his skill. And as a fullback, this is not the way to defend if you're a fullback. David Bielecki almost wanted to race him to the try line. The great fullbacks of yesteryear, blokes like Graham Eady, would have charged him, picked him up and put him back on the halfway line. But great work by Lyon. Beautiful run of the football. When he gets into open space, it's just poetry in motion.
Yeah, he's quicker than a lot of people think.
And John successful with his third kick of the night. The Kangaroos on song. 18-0 Nines Friday Night Football. Back at Aussie Stadium. An 18-0 scoreline. And Shane Webke, the hard work in the lead up to the try, and don't his teammates appreciate it. The skipper, one of the first men across. Kangaroos, but this is what you love about seeing the Australian side in action, seeing Johns alongside the Broncos, Webke, seeing Lyon on the same side, the Roosters. This is our best. Oh, the tackle from Webke from Torpy. seen Webke take it in such a manner. Craig Wing is away. One tackle, they need more than that. 38 metres from the line. Tate. Johns. Floating ball long. And Fletcher. That's a good tackle from Talau. Fletcher menacing out wide. Hegarty. They're on the rack here, the Kiwis. Johns. Simonasiva. Mason. Try and stop him. No one can. Mason. 3 tests, 3 tries. And the Aussies have their ball.
And it's a ravaging Willie Mason. It's a ravaging Australian side at the moment, throwing the football from side to side. Unfortunately for New Zealand, too much of that rugged defence, strong defence, is followed up by soft. And Craig Wing goes out of dummy half, puts a little step on. Rauhiwi has a great shot at him. And the strength of Wing gets him out of the tackle, gets rid of Swain. And eventually they make the tackle, but the damage is done. The defence is shot. And they come to the right-hand side. There'll be threes at there. You can see these Kiwi players, they're not sure whether to come in, whether to come up. As play continues, the decoy players put them in 2 minds. All of a sudden they come in, the hole opens up for Mason, charges straight. And you don't think that David Bielecki is going to have nightmares after tonight's game with the traffic coming his way.
You can see the difference in the two sides when they're attacking. The Australians have got depth and width, and they're using it to advantage. And big fellows like Willie Mason charging into holes like that. Happy days, Willie. This could get ugly.
Andrew Johns has got 3 from 3. Now it is 4 from 4. The Australian fans, they are loving it. A rare chance to wear the red and gold jumper to a game of footy. Phil Gould sideline.
Yeah, well, they put the Great Britain side to the sword this time last year, and they're going to do it to the Kiwis again tonight. People saying they were tired after a tough State of Origin series, but that just hardens you up, and the pride of playing for Australia gets over that sort of thing. The width of their game is the thing, the skill from all these players. There is no skill in the Kiwi side, and their defence just can't aim up on the numbers.
Words from Phil Gould on the Kiwi performance so far, as Webke takes another run and offloads. That's his 3rd for the night. Minicello with it. There are 5 in this New Zealand squad who are members of that 52-0 match in 2000.
Shane Webke, we should also point out that it was Petro Simonasiva who put the ball onto the chest of Willie Mason at the other end, through for try. So the big men for Australia offloading beautifully as well to promote for teammates.
Johns after a Mason hit up. They are moving forward at a rapid rate. It was a good tackle there by Vangana to shut down Minicello. It needed to be. Johns kicks from halfway. And there's not too many faults in the Australian game so far. Look at that bounce up off the crossbar. That'll stop it from going over the dead ball line. He's worked it out, Joey Johns. He is a genius.
How many times has he hit the post in big matches of late? No, he did in Origin, hit the upright.
And he wouldn't settle for either side. He got it right bang on the middle of the Xbox.
6 again!
And a call of 6 again there from Bill Harrigan. There's Rauhiwi. Back for Swain. With it is Jones. No one deep on his outside. And now on halfway, Ruben Wiki. Attacking the ball was Timmins in the tackle. He almost came away with it. They are 40 out. Richard Swain and Jones. The defence has moved up quickly. Talau takes a dash at them. Reminding you, Gordon Tallis will not be back for the Australians tonight. An injury to his right knee. And now he's 25 away. Rauhiwi bumping forward and passes for Pulatua. It is the last tackle. It is 8 metres away. Torpy out of dummy half, goes solo, and we have a changeover.
Well, that's just how they played tonight, the Kiwis. The last tackle, and that's the best they can do, is a run from dummy half. I mean, their line wasn't set. There was no one in there to take control. As Matt Singh makes another good run.
Willie Mason was very slow to his feet after that torpy run at the line. They're away again. Lyon is going to look to position Hegarty. He passes without looking almost. And Hegarty on test debut is ankle tapped. 10 out from the line.
Well, Shane Webke out there is Arthur Beetson tonight. Another of his offloads led to that break, and here's a chance for the Australians with Sean Timmins straightening up. Defence has got back fairly well, searching for a hole, can't find it.
5 minutes out, he's been stripped of the ball by Vangana.
On the deck.
Carrigan is going to rule the tackle had been completed.
On the deck.
Well, a safe option would be to put it further than 4 converted tries in front, but with the way the Australians are playing at the moment, they'll go for more than 2, you would think.
They take the tap. Andrew Johns throws it back. Tate on the second bounce. He's already got 1 try. Singh has also got a 4-pointer. On the line, collected by Gutenberg. Wing. Johns. Back with Ricketson. It opens up on the left. It's just a classical rugby league play. Jamie Lyon gets his second try. Catch and pass. Catch and pass. It is try number 5, and we are watching an exceptionally talented band of players.
And the decoy runners for Australia tonight have been superb. What about this offload at the other end of the field? Shane Webke again attracting a couple of players. Nigel Vangana couldn't come in and stop the play. And Shannon Hegarty, oh so unlucky not to get a try on debut. Ankle tap there by Matt Utai. Little man just getting the heel. And looked to be all over. And here's the penalty, stripping the football. Harrigan saying the tackle had been completed. Sean Timmins on the ground. And then watch the decoy here. If we freeze it there, that man there has helped this try no end by going in and committing these 2 defenders. And as play continues, look at the hole open up because he made that run. The man comes from around the back. Ricketson offloads to Fletcher, former Roosters teammates, onto Jamie Lyon.
Yeah, what we're watching tonight is just a dead set slaughter. The Kiwis, their defence is just so bad, they don't know whether to come up, drift out, they've got no idea, and the Australians are carving.
20 metres out, and 15 in from touch, and Johns are 100% success rate tonight. The Australian fans are being treated to a show tonight. Jamie Lyon has bagged a double. This young man who didn't get a look in last year because of a serious ankle injury when it came around to Test football. But he had made his debut as a teenager the previous season. He's back in the green and gold tonight. I dare say he is there for a long, long time. And on the back of that try, the halftime siren. And it is pretty close to a perfect 40 minutes of football. Look at that scoreline. If you've got some New Zealand friends, why not give them a call at halftime?
The Lynx effect, now stronger than before.
Sony Cybershot, available now at Harvey Norman.
One Premium Light. Some drink it because they're responsible.
What?
Others just love the taste.
Visit thelinkseffect.com.au.
There are sports, and there are extreme sports. Just like there are compact four-wheel drives. And there's the Nissan X-Trail. Its revolutionary all-mode four-wheel drive system lets you switch between two-wheel drive and four-wheel drive at the touch of a button. The X-Trail. Only Nissan takes the compact four-wheel drive to the extreme.
A record first half score against the New Zealanders here at the Aussie Stadium. 30-0 in favour of the Kangaroos. 5 converted tries. You have to say a very unexpected scoreline. Kiwis came into this game looking very strong on paper. Unfortunately for them, that hasn't transferred into a first half performance. Ruben Wiki, as skipper tonight, he's done his best. We saw he's made over 70 metres taking the ball forward. Really most of the damage has been done wide and way too many missed tackles. 5 tries. Andrew Johns leads his team out. A double already to Jamie Lyon. Matt Singh, Brent Tate and Big Willie Mason. There he is on the scoreboard again. 3 tries from 3 test matches for Big Willie. A good strike rate. I'm sure that Chris Anderson will have called for more of the same in the second half. Make sure that this first 10 minutes they don't get slack. Don't allow their opposition a sniff of scoring points and put them to the sword. Most of these players now have gone from having one step on the flight to the Kangaroo Tour to pretty much buckling in. Chris Anderson will again remind it. They go on with the job. Certainly help their representative cause.
First of 5 test matches the Kangaroos will play in 2003. They could not have been any more impressive. They will play the Kiwis again in October, and then 3 tests on that Kangaroo Tour against Great Britain. 9's Friday night football and a 30-0 half-time scoreline. And Ruben Wiki coming back on for the second half. It was an anguished look on his face. Come on, boys. We're better than this. And New Zealand attacking raid on the first set. Lucky ruled to have knocked back. Outside the 30. Swain is with it. Rauhihi. We're still yet to see Joe Nullavow. Hardly the situation he was hoping to come on to as Jones offloads. It is promising. Vangana inside the 30. Now kicks inside. Regathers. Vangana loses it on the line. Well, he looked to kick back in field, and somehow he ended back with the ball a metre downfield.
I don't think he was kicking to himself, that's for sure. But this is what they needed early in the second half, a bit of confidence, a break. He's kicked it, nearly got it himself, and was grabbed by Minicello and denied.
Knock on there at the end, but Paul Rahihi was probably their best forward in the first half, the Kiwis, and there's a strong dash by him and a good offload. So maybe they've come out with an injection of some description at the half-time and they fired up. But this is the Aussies now in possession, and Brian Fletcher, who was very good in that first half, attacking on the fringes and tipping on and offloading. Good work by Fletch.
Well, Vangana involved in the tackle. Nullavow getting a rub down, getting ready to come on perhaps. About Vangana, it's a tricky kick when you can deceive yourself. And Andrew Johns caught on tackle 4. And Wing now kicks on 5 from inside the 40. Francis Mini back for the Warriors. Let's head down to Phil Gould, find out what the coaches had to say after that first 40.
Well, Australian coach Chris Anderson was naturally very happy. But he did have a warning for his team. He said that he expected the Kiwis to throw caution to the wind and start offloading the ball at will. And Australians had to be very wary in defence. And we saw from that first set of 6, he's right on the money. We didn't get a report from the Kiwi room, but I'd say Daniel Anderson had said, throw caution to the wind.
It's a tough night for Daniel. First week as New Zealand coach. Had a good chat with him before the game. He was really excited about tonight. It had been a great week. As Jones kicks, it is high for Singh, and Singh safe. He opened the scoring tonight as Tate Fires away, and there's no one at home. Taylor's over halfway, now extending. Oh, get on him, Brent Tate, and follow him all the way through to the Spring Carnival. Brent Tate scores a runaway try.
Well, that's almost an embarrassing try conceded there by New Zealand. They totally went to sleep. Tate's gone out of dummy half. Clinton Torpy makes the tackle. Francis Melly comes in. But nobody down the short side pays any attention as we freeze it there. There the New Zealand player still coming back, while the Australian player has gone out and around. And as play continues, once it becomes a foot race, no one is going to catch Brent Tate from behind. David Violecki valiantly comes across, but disgraceful defence, turning their back, and they paid the ultimate penalty.
There's more bad news for the Kiwis coming up here as Johns lines up this kick. We'll get a comment from Phil Gould in a moment, but Stacey Jones has come to the bench. Johns has another two. He's having a night out, the Aussie captain. Phil Gould, we look at the pictures here of Stacey Jones, quite distressed.
Yeah, we'll try and get a report on what the injury is there, but he has been replaced. This try from Brent Tate, 5 yards out from his own line, runs from dummy half, skirts the outside of the field and scores a try. If you go down to your local park tomorrow, you'll see 8 and 10-year-old kids doing this pretty often. In test match football, it shouldn't happen.
And the other bad news for the Kiwis, David Violecki is out there simply because they have no troops to send out there. We could have Joe Nullarbor playing fullback, a position he made his debut in 1998.
Just on that point, Johns was successful with the conversion. That takes him to third in the all-time points scored for Australia, behind Mal Meninga 272, Mick Cronin 201. Tonight he has gone past both Graham Langlands and Michael O'Connor.
Mason passing, they attack left, Ricketson with it. The Australians will motor on, but the Kiwis with this bench of forwards have found troubles now with their backs. Jones off, Violecki would be off if they had someone to send on, and the Aussies have made an error. Swain has gone to halfback.
Yeah, Violecki has come off.
And Nullarbor Fatty actually played fullback replacing Matthew Ridge in '98 when he made his debut for Auckland.
Well, he's on the wing at the moment. The nuggety second row from Penrith.
Don't you think Shannon Hegarty's happy about that?
Big run here from Rauahihi. And then at 36-0, you do try to offload, and Tate gets to the loose ball. Hard to be too critical there of Rauahihi.
And Nigel Vunganar has gone to fullback. Joe Nullarbor now goes into the centres inside Matt Utai. So some big legs on this side of the field for the Kiwis.
Australians 5 metres inside their own half. Danny Medeiros passing in. Johns wants his man inside. Now links back up with Minicello. Then the long ball. The long passing game has blitzed the Kiwis tonight. Mason gets a little bit of aggro over the top from Wiki. The two stand up chest to chest after the tackle. They're still feeling in the game. Vunganar at fullback can't get across to cut off that.
Have you seen the signs of Ruben Wiki, how tall he stands to Willie Mason? You're telling me they were chest to chest? It's a bit of a rabbit punch there from Ruben Wiki.
Swain works the second scrum possibly of his career. Swain set back in the first half with Gordon Tallis, that ligament damage to the knee. So Chris Anderson has been operating off a 3-man bench since quite early when he beat them. And Swain now for Rauahihi to take another hit up at Badeiros. And plenty of mates there of Badeiros to help in the tackle, Fletcher and Ricketson. Now Ruben Wiki. Again, there is 3 in the tackle. And a 44-metre gain on this set. The kick, for the second time tonight, is out on the fall.
Well, it's 36 blot, and we don't want to be too disparaging of the Kiwis, and the fans don't think we are, but they have been awful tonight. And if they don't pick up in everything, attitude, appliance, then it's going to be 60.
That's something we can discuss after the game, but could things have been any different had Swan been awarded a try inside the first 4? Webke's lost it. But just to get their confidence up and get points on the board, he was denied a try.
Yeah, look, I can't say the effort hasn't been there. To miss 30 tackles, you've got to attempt to make them. Certainly that they haven't executed well at all, and the way that the Australians are playing, moving the football around, it's like a catch-22. You miss tackles, you keep chasing, you get tired, you end up missing more tackles.
New Zealand with it on halfway. Let's get a report from Phil on the status of the injured players for New Zealand.
Yeah, well, their halfback, Stacey Jones, has got a strained groin muscle. He's got ice on it at the moment. They're still saying he may come back in this game, but I'll be very surprised if his club coach, Daniel Anderson, risks him with the score at 36-0. David Violecki has a bad cork. He too has ice on, but they haven't given up hope he may take part in the game.
Little rush down that left side for New Zealand. They've got the field position here, but they don't have their playmaker, and Swain gets a kick in. It's not badly weighted. Hegarty on his goal line, and it may have knocked on as well. It'll be a line dropout for the Kangaroos, and that an example of the Kiwi effort that is being put in. Swain in the unaccustomary position of halfback, and Nullavow playing in the centres, coming through with a tackle which got the ball out of the grasp of Hegarty. Massive season for that man, Joe Nullavow, who will feature in our match of the round on Sunday when round 20 of the Telstra Premiership is on. Panthers and Roosters from Penrith. It is a blockbuster as Wiki carries to within 10 metres of the line for the Kiwis. Roddy Beetham back with Swain, and quick hands for Talau. Talau, who has started in 7 first-grade games for the Dogs this year, has struggled tonight. Rauhihi. He slips the pass. It's put down by Nullavow. It is play on for the Kangaroos. We've got a touch judge in.
Yeah, this will be a penalty for New Zealand. A man tackled without the football, I would think. A support player on the outside, Nullavow, grabbed before the pass was released. The Kiwis will get a penalty. Shannon Hegarty was the culprit.
If it is, it'll be their first penalty, and there it is.
Beetham will have the tap. Passes wide to Swain. He keeps it going, and then Talau on an inside run, but around the legs was Sivanasiva. Beetham again. Here's 5 from the line. Logan Swan on the spin.
Help three.
That is tackle number 3. Beetham. Chance here. Swain for New Zealand. Their makeshift number 7 gets over. It's their first try. And the Kiwi supporters who have come along to Aussie Stadium tonight at last, they are cheering.
Yes, they came from this penalty awarded their way. Joe Nullavow definitely interfered with, and they never got numbers, as we freeze it there. You can see the Australian players on the far side coming up straight, and the try scorer will go through the gap that's created. They just didn't have enough numbers out there. It was 5 against 3. The Australian outside men rushing up quickly, and by rushing up quickly, that opened it up on the inside.
Yeah, they actually used a bit of the Australian play. They used a decoy close to the line. I think it was Ruben Wiki who took out a couple of players, and Richard Swain looked up, and he's been pretty strong tonight for the Kiwis. 24 tackles and gets a deserving try.
Well, the talk at half-time from that man, Daniel Anderson, would have been about making the second half a respectable one. Come out, make sure the scoreline didn't get away. Chris Anderson would have said to his players, stressing, don't let them cross our line. So he'll certainly be disappointed that been scored against. This is along Daniel Anderson's line of thinking, 36-6.
So Swain converts his first try. It is 36-6 in Nine's Friday night test football. Ready to go again. Australians on the back of conceding their first points for the night. New Zealand side. Swain scored the try. We've had some aborted attempts at a Mexican wave around Aussie Stadium. CU took the hit up. And now Ruben Wiki, the Kiwi captain. Goodenmeal. He's on the 30 and offloading back there for Beetham. And now they are up to the 40. Torpy away with Pulatua. Has had very few opportunities to run with the ball and he's lost it here.
Lost it?
It's just not happening for them.
Yeah, I've got to say I was a little bit surprised at the run onside that the New Zealand team did name. I thought if you're going to take advantage of form players like Tony Pulatua and Joe Nullavow, you start the game with them. You take advantage of what they've done for Penrith week in, week out. Monty Beetham, to me, is not a bench player. He's not the kind of bloke who comes on and does something for you. He starts a game and sets a trend. He's an inspirational player defensively. That's what you want early in a game.
Almost had one against the feed there. Really got it right. It's all over the joint.
Inside legs back to Petro, give him the hole, put it in. Not like that.
Well, we'll just go with that one. Play on. And Hegarty. He was ankle tapped by Matt Utah in that first half when he seemed destined to score a try on debut.
I hope he gets one tonight. If anyone deserves a try tonight, it is Shannon Hegarty. He's been all but on a couple of occasions.
Australians attack right. This is where they've had a lot of success tonight. There's a swinging arm in there, which certainly caught the attention of those on the eastern side of the ground.
Very high tackle on Dane Carlaw there.
Francis Melly was the player involved as Sivanasiva carries forward. 30 metres away from this New Zealand line. It is Andrew Johns. That cutout ball. Here's trouble. Fletcher. It comes wide. Matty Singh. He's got another double. He has made it a habit this year. In fact, that's the 8th time he's scored at least 2 tries in a match. He is having some sort of year.
And the way the Australians have moved the football tonight, they've made it very difficult for the outside men. There's Melly. He did come up off the football a little bit on Carlaw. The outside men for New Zealand, they're not quite sure whether to come in or stay out. Australia go to the right-hand side. We breeze it there. There's Francis Melly. Now, what you don't do when you're opposing a man is let him get on the outside. And as play continues, that's how they've lined up. He's already on the outside. It becomes 2-on-1. Melly, do I stay? Do I stay? No, I've got to go. By that time, the bird has flown.
Andrew Johns has had it going good tonight, but not on this occasion. He misses one. It is 40 points to 6. Phil Gould sideline.
Yeah, Matty Singh, I can remember in 1993, he came down from Rockhampton on $1,000 to play with the Panthers. He was a halfback. He missed out on the Queensland under-17 team as a number 7. He didn't talk. He was shy. He couldn't kick. He couldn't pass. So I sent him back to Emu Plains. Lenny Stacker was the coach there. He put him in the centres. He scored 3 tries. He said, you better have him back. He's an outside back. Look at him now. He's playing for Queensland, playing for Australia, scoring tries every week.
I bet you ended up giving him a little bit more than 1,000 not far down the track, Gus.
Yeah, he's got the first cent he ever earned too. I think he's got the 1,000 in the bank, Matty Singh.
Sivanasiva with it. It's up short of the 30. That was the tackle on Bailey from Kearney. As they attack right again. And Tate. Free running down the right side. Beetham gets the intercept. Much needed. But Tate is having an attacking game tonight of the best kind. New Zealand on the 40. 21 years of age. Each of the 2 centres for the Kangaroos. Now Goodenmeal. Wiki. Beetham for Swain. Swain playing halfback. Kearney, he loses the ball. Fletcher couldn't come up with it. All the time looking to offload, given the scoreline. It appeared to come off the leg at the finish. Kearney will be called out.
When tackle hit. It's Luke Bailey. We're just going to place that on report and we're going to go on with the scrum. Might be a good tackle. Might be a great tackle and they're just going to look at it. All right?
Well, the call's very late, but it's the right one. Good to see that technology has allowed that to happen. Stephen Kearney saying got him on the shoulder, but from the evidence of the video we saw, I don't think there's much in his argument. It's definitely high and probably deserved to be placed on report and has been.
Yeah, Luke Bailey is with it for the Kangaroos. Top the hit-ups for New South Wales in all 3 origins this year. And tonight, he has made 21 tackles and 10 hit-ups. Carlaw will play it outside the 40. Not a particularly big 10 metres kept by Bill Hagan on that last play. Kangaroos right on halfway. And Johns pumps it out wide. It's 3 on 2. It came loose for Tate. It's play on now for Torpy. Sorpy had a job to do there. He was effective. Kiwis 30 metres out. And just one try next to their names tonight. Wiki, shortest of offloads. Talau plays it outside the 20. Here's him back for Kearney. Running at Bailey. He put paid to the first attempt there of Badeiros. Beetham wasn't watching a dummy half. Almost caught out. Kept alive now, back on the inside for Vangana, then back for Beetham. He's lost it. Kangaroos with it. Fletcher.
That's how their night's gone. They're building up to something there. Maybe get their second try of the night, and ball hits the deck once again. Been good as well tonight, Luke Bailey. Another bloke has had a super duper year for the Dragons, for the Blues, and tonight for Australia.
Willie Mason prepares to come back on. Sivanasiva to this 30. Crowd tonight ended up quite healthy here at Aussie Stadium. I mentioned earlier that the New Zealand contingent in the crowd was very strong and very vocal. They have been silenced by that first 40 minutes, but 30,605 is just a few less than we had last year for the test with Great Britain. And Australia attack again left. Mason taken front on there by Nullarbor. Combined there was about 40 kilos of hair meeting there. Hegarty back. Johns passes long, and Minicello gets a kick in. Don't know how to describe it though. Melly comes back for the Kiwis. I think he might be a left footer, and that was off his right.
I don't think we'll see Anthony kick again in this match. As we go into the final quarter of the game, it's testimony again as to what Origin does for these players. A lot of people saying it's tiring, and it is, and all of that. But what it does battle harden you, absolutely no doubt. Your best preparation for any big games, test football, is to go through an Origin series.
Well, he takes them on again. And offloads. Beetham keeps it alive. Utai kicks, and it ricochets off Harrigan. Pick of the stand, Matt Utai. Pick of the stand off the top shelf, young man.
Well, Bill Harrigan saying to the New Zealanders it was always going dead. Good Falcon from the man in the middle.
Here's Hegarty. We get a chance. We'll hear what Harrigan said here.
Oh.
I think he said, oh,
you big wuss, Bill.
I think Bill Laurie would say, good. As the Australians get a Shepherd play there, Kiwis penalty. 15 and a half remaining.
Oh, the hair's messed up too, Bill. Give it a quick scrub, mate. Give it a quick poke.
A quick poke.
Oh, whatever they do with it.
And
I'll tell you what tonight has done. It's confirmed Paul Rahihi is a test forward, hasn't he? He's been outstanding for the Kiwis.
I think the bloke who just kicked the touch there has been close to their best as well, Richard Swain. Su'u with a strong charge. Can they get their second on the board? They got 5 tackles up their sleeve. Has he held it? No.
Torture. They're trying so hard. Just got ahead of himself there, Monty Beetham.
John's away for Tate. Thinking about Andrew Johns. He's hardly had to cop a tackle tonight. Tate copped one in the face in that tackle. As Bailey rips into them again.
Yeah, it's been the kind of game that for Andrew Johns where Michael Hagan, I guess he might have been tempted to rest him or play a little of him on Sunday against the Tigers. This is a kind of game where Johns could get through fairly unscathed. Last 2 trips Newcastle made to Campbelltown without Johns, they've been beaten. 9th on the ladder. The man who just kicked the football there is a key to how far they're going to go up the premiership ladder into the playoffs.
Nigel Vunganar collected over the top by his Bulldogs teammate as Pulatua. Locks flowing, rushes back out there. There is Melly. 4 in that tackle, and he was still on his feet. He tonight, 10 hit-ups, 14 tackles, just under the 100 metres, and 5 offloads. That's been one of the highlights. It's Pulatua. Almost bursting through the other side of the defence. Here is Torpy. He is 30 metres away. Monty Beetham playing for a penalty as wing rolled clear of the play the ball. And the kick from Swain. Hegarty is able to let it go over the sideline. This scrum 10 metres out. Webke very much a contender for man of the match honours tonight because of the devastating work he provided in the first half. Mason with it. Well played on the 30. That left thigh heavily strapped. Bulldogs face the Cowboys on Sunday. Bailey's just thrown Guttenbeil away. This with disdain. Kangaroos outside the 40. Ricketson. Andrew Johns. I'll just check. Ricketson, I don't think, has had a break, has he? That kick played at by Utai. And then was under a bit of pressure. Out. Utai was slow to his feet, now back on the haunches. Nullarbor. Monty Beetham. Swan runs at Ricketson. Confirmation, he's been out there for the entire game. 69 minutes so far. Utai's in trouble for New Zealand.
Yeah, we've got a problem there. The trainer has just signalled to the touch line. As the other winger, Francis Melly, does some fancy dancing, tries to offload.
Torpy. And Rauhihi with another run. Look at him go. And able to offload and then Singh. Was it a steal or an intercept?
No,
I'm not sure.
It was a steal. He just grabbed it out of his arms. Here's Rauhihi. As Paul pointed out, he's been very strong. Give me that football.
Australians now with Johns. And that ball back for Ricketson. Up and over Nullarbor. They will be opposed again on Sunday when the Roosters play the Panthers. As Webke bumps away from his Broncos teammate Swain. Spectacular this. And now Mason. Big Willie. Passing. Johns was it taken out of play. Play on. Hegarty. We've got a forward pass call here, I think.
Seeing the ball went forward. Can't be a forward pass. Andrew Johns actually looked like he was taken out from behind. Yeah. He was supporting Willie Mason.
In fact,
it was actually Minicello backing up.
I think that's okay. I think he'd gone past the football.
No, there's no hand built. And this should be a try. It would have been a penalty anyway, right in front of the posts. But Hegarty looks like he gets his try. Again, we should point out the video referee cannot adjudicate on forward passes, so he's not looking for that at all. He might have been unsighted. He might have thought Minicello got a hand to it. But good ball, wasn't it, from Ricketson on the fly, and then Hegarty out wide. Yeah, good on you, Shannon. You got your try.
Just to explain the rule too, the ball can bounce forward after it has been passed backwards. Once it hits the ground, then bounces forward, that's okay. As long as the first motion was to pass it backwards, and that was definitely the case with Mason's pass. It then took a bounce towards the New Zealand goal line.
Well, the longer this goes, it's like a protest. The longer it goes, the more chance you are of not having it go your way. That looked fine to me. It went backwards. Rickettson's done a good job. Bill Harrigan, he can only adjudicate on that pass. He said that's fine.
I've got to say here, Sterlo, I don't think the video ref can rule on any of this. When you watch it, that's a pass from Mason. It's not a drop ball.
No, so I think Bill was unsighted, and obviously he thinks that someone's touched it who shouldn't have.
But my point, Paul, is that Phil has to throw it back to Bill Harrigan here. He can't make a decision. He can't rule on any of that.
The ref's call.
He's not looking for a knock on, you're right. He can't say whether it was forward or backwards the pass.
He just says try. Sweet as. Hegarty on Testaboo has a 4-pointer. And what a 12 months it has been for him. Grand final win, Origin debut, now Testaboo try.
Yeah, and it's been a frustrating night in some ways for Shannon Hegarty. Big Willie Mason. I need to use the term Bill. It's not big, sorry. It's pretty obvious, isn't it? And Minicello overran it. Luke Ricketson, he's like a drover's dog, Luke. He's everywhere. Just where you need him to be. And Jamie Lyon, beautiful pass. Shannon Hegarty out wide. Finishes.
Let's take a comment from Phil Gould sideline.
Why did we need so many replays to determine that was a try? The video referees are shell-shocked. The Logan Swan decision early in the game, the fact he took so long to do that, they don't want to make a decision, the video referees. Matt Utai's gone to the bench with a sore shoulder.
Johns lines up this kick.
Get into him, Phil. Go hard, champ.
We will talk about that video referee ruling from the first half after the game. And a chat with Phil Cooley rather, at half-time. Oh, just imagine if you're on him at 100 to 1. Logan Swan. Johns misses.
Imagine.
Nines, Friday night football, 8 remaining, it's 44-6. Richard Swain has us underway into this final passage. 52-0. In 2000 it was, when these sides clashed over at Homebush, and tonight at Aussie Stadium it is 44-6. The Australians, well, that ball has come out very late. The call came off stripped from the touch judge. And what's more, it came a call from the New Zealand touch judge on that far side of the ground. As Ricketson takes a hit up. Matt Utai nursing a shoulder problem for the first time this year. Suffered that injury up against the Broncos at Suncorp Stadium. Mason's now hurt for the Kangaroos. He was limping after that last pass. Arthur Clark is the name of that touch judge, by the way, the New Zealander. Carlaw away from Beetham. 25 metres from the line.
Well, on this side of the field, we've got Willie Tallow on the wing. We've got Richard Swain playing in the centres. They're all over the place, the Kiwis, with these injury concerns.
Wing keeps it alive for Tate. Defence for a moment flat-footed. Medeiros, Andrew Johns. He is 15 out, props and turns it inside. Sings looking for 3. Collected by Torpy. Last tackle. Danny Medeiros, short on this side. Craig Wing angles back in field. Andrew Johns flicks it out the back. You expect to see that with 6.5 remaining. And then the ball is put down. Now, what did happen to Willie Mason back on that previous play? I was worried about his thigh. It was a case of having his left foot trodden on. That does smart.
Over that side.
We shouldn't laugh about it. It may have done a little more than just light-on damage. But he's got that left thigh heavily strapped in any case. As Torpy offloading on the dive to Melly. And Melly is 45 from the line. See you alive for Wiki. Even Wiki has had such a great year with Canberra. This is quite a letdown tonight. Swain, long ball. And Willie Talau would have had to be jet propelled on a dive to get a hand on it.
Richard Swain, when he passed that ball, he's saying, come on, champ, run onto it. Just watch him in the background. He's, you don't see it there, but he's waving his hands around saying, should have been there.
Swain will head to the Hull Club next year in England. Johns. Fires that ball out. It went over the shoulder of Wing. And then CUCU gets there late. Play on the call from Harrigan. And look at Wing. And then bounces away from CUCU. It'd be 25 kilos difference between those two. And Wing came off better. Siva got up a little wounded from that previous tackle. Here's Ricketson. Still going in this match. Straight to Johns. Almost bringing the game to a complete stop there. Then finding Webke. Shane Webke come up with a try. Hasn't got one this year. Johns, cut out ball. Lyon got two in the first half. Hegarty. He wants a double. He's 5 metres from the line. And last tackle. Johns is the man to look for here. Here he is, the number 7. The little kick. Running through is Minicello. And back there was Beetham. Did well. Monty Beetham to force the line dropout.
Well, they're desperate to try and get to 50. And look at him pointing. Sending out commands. Nearly hit the upright.
Warriors have the bye this weekend. Well, I guess some would say couldn't suffer in silence after tonight's match. Some of their teammates, though, will have the opportunity to get it out of their system, if you like. The likes of Nullaval and Pulatua will line up at Penrith on Sunday in our match of the day.
Yeah, the competition leaders up against the reigning premiers. The tip is, if you're going out to Penrith Stadium, get there early. I think they'll probably close the gates out there at some stage. And if you can't get to the football, settle back at 4 o'clock with us and sit down and watch what should be a classic confrontation between two sides going beautifully this season.
We'll talk more about that match in the after-game show tonight. Wing's headed for the try line. Wing will get there. Craig Wing in his second Test match.
Yeah, well done, Craig Wing. A great run. He can do this to you. He can hurt you if he got some room to move. And once again, this has been typical Kiwi defence tonight, with a player rushing up there, Monty Beetham, trying to make a tackle, trying to nullify everything the Australians are doing. But when you do rush up, you've got to make the tackle. And he missed and opened up the hole for Craig Wing. He doesn't need much room to move, does he?
You've got to make sure your defence against this Australian team is in one line. Doesn't matter how quickly you go up, as long as you go up together and make decisions along with each other. If someone reacts and comes in, then you've got to support on the outside by coming in. Too often tonight, as we see the disappointment of Nigel Vunganar, we've seen Kiwi defenders come in, some stay out, some rush up, some stay back, and holes appear all over the place.
And Andrew Johns attempting this kick from 9 metres out. He did it last year. In fact, 2 years ago for the Knights against the Warriors over at Ericsson, was successful from wider out. You try and do this from such a slight angle, looks to hook it back and just shaves the uprights.
Yeah, I'm not a fan.
Don't want it in a Test match?
Well, I think it's no. I think it's just a bit of showmanship that's not needed. Now, these are Test points out there. As we said, he's moved to 3rd on the all-time list. He could have taken it back and had a normal shot. I'm not a fan.
Let's take a comment from Phil Gould, sideline.
Yeah, a little bit of David Beckham about that one. I want to give a rooster a rap. Luke Ricketson playing in his Test debut tonight. He's been absolutely outstanding. He's run the ball, he's tackled everything that's moved. We're moving into the 80th minute of the game and he's still there. He'll have to do it all again for the Roosters on Sunday, but he's used to it. Good on you, Rico. Test debut.
Webke, this man has been so good and quick play the ball. Caught all the defenders out while they're trying to wrestle and take him to ground. Webke's thinking, I'll just play this. The Australians roll on. Well, the Johns miss They've saved the Kiwis the embarrassment of the 50 on the scoreboard. 48-6, 45 seconds remaining. Johns kicks short, sends them on the chase. Matty Singh doesn't get the bounce, Beetham does. He deserves a change of luck. And New Zealand, one last chance to attack with a football. It's quite a while to wait for revenge. All the way through to October. Wide ball here, juggled by Talau. Talau inside the 40. And there is that man Gus spoke of, Luke Ricketson across in cover. In the 80th minute of the game with Carlaw. At a 48-6 scoreline, that is determination plus. The Kiwis with a final run of the night. Beetham, CU, Swain, Swan kicks. It's covered up by Minicello. That ends his first test, and that ends the first test of the year, and that crushes the Kiwis' hopes. But what a performance from the Kangaroos, the Phillips Kangaroos tonight. 9 tries to 1. A match that they absolutely slaughtered the Kiwis in the first 40 minutes. It was 30-0 at half-time. All you can do is sit back and admire these wonderful athletes that less than 10 days ago were locking horns in State of Origin. Opposed like their lives depended on it. Tonight, for 17 of them, they've got together and turned on a grand show. One that is greatly appreciated by the crowd of over 30,000 here at Aussie Stadium. 48 points to 6. The first of 5 test matches for the Kangaroos this year.
This has been a Fox Sports presentation. This program proudly brought to you by Tui's new Give That Man a New. Harvey Norman, there's a store near you. And the Extreme Nissan X-Trail.
Here the Kiwis, Johns.